Welcome in, everybody. If you're tuning in now or after the midday market report, I greatly appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Please make sure to hit that like button as you watch this, whether it's before or after the live has ended, as it will greatly help us push through the analytics. And it'll help us reach a wider audience, and not just a wider audience, but the audience that is accustomed to being here. And it'll allow more of us to reach a mutual area of interpretation here so that we can have an active discussion. So I try to get through these midday market reports in about 10 to 20 minutes at most. So we're going to get through it. We'll see how the active discussion goes. But other than that, let me just timestamp this and then we'll get going. Good early afternoon, 12:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, January 29th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So the activity will go down. There's not going to be as many people that are probably around during the midday market report or even in the lives at night because crypto's been in a downturn. We've had downturns within the market, so it makes it very difficult for some people to actually watch the market and interpret it or even have an interest in looking at the market. Progdelic, welcome in. Good morning to you as well. Jermaine, welcome in. Thank you for watching every day, Jermaine. I know it can be a little enticing right now with everything that's going on, but I assure you that it is this is the most important time to be watching. This is the most important time to be paying attention, especially to the market cycles and especially to the up and down. So we're just gonna fly through this. So the Dow Jones is up or down 9 points at 38,100. Good morning, Martin. Welcome in. I'm glad to see you in here, my friend. At 38,100. The Dow Jones continues to run parabolically. It looks like another bull flag is set up. We do have a technical target up to 39,984 if this plays true. So just consider that when we're looking at the Dow. Frogdelic says, I really appreciate your analysis. Goes deeper than most I see on YouTube. I appreciate that. Yeah, I take it to another level. I try to ignore all of the stuff that's hearsay and FUD and just, somebody who doesn't really understand the chart saying something. So I kind of take my own perspective and then I'll bounce it against the news and things like that. But right now, the charts on the midday market report I'm interested in doing today, just because even a lot of this stuff looks like a reversal was started and crypto will go over. Even in metals, it looks like there's a little danger approaching. So we just got to keep our eyes open. The Dow looks like another bull flag, just like here. Another instance, a small one here, should bring us up right around that 38,500 to the next level. I know it's not a huge move, but that's just your next tiny pusher that it looks like it's going to give, especially if that bull flag plays out true. We've got the DXY down 20 cents or 0.2 or up 20 cents or 0.2% to 103.67. I have a technical move that it hasn't filled out yet. It's come awfully close, but the move off of the 200 day when it bounced off should have been right around 104.15. I could see it going up to that pivot level of 104.539, so I'm definitely keeping my eyes open for that. Tanya, welcome in, love. Good to see you in here on this Monday afternoon now. Glad to see you in here, Tanya. Matt Holden, good afternoon. Welcome in. I'm glad you're here on the Midday Market Report. I really am. CJ2 Pilot, welcome in. Few people shut up to the Midday Market Report despite the struggles, so I do appreciate that. But yeah, that's just what I'm looking at with the DXY. It's got a little bit more room, and I would expect it probably to come up to that pivot point. Come up to that pivot point. We've broken on top of the 2 hourly now. 4 hourly, we've had a golden cross and we're bouncing off the 20-day as we know from last week. And then in the daily time frame, even in the DXY, we're up to the 200 days. So we'll see if we can get on top of 103.705. If we do, I have no doubt we're coming up to that pivot point at 104.53. And even in the daily, we've got room to run up. So I'd be surprised, honestly, if it doesn't finish that move. The U.S. 10 years down 4 basis points or 0.87% to 4.11. It's still morning here in San Diego. Doesn't feel like midday. Frogadelic, that is true. It's only like, 9:13 out in San Diego. So I can completely understand that. That means my morning update I did, it was only like 7:30, 8 o'clock where you're at. So that makes it for interesting times indeed. XRP really struggling with the 536. Yeah, that's the pivot point. I have it at 534, but 536, same thing. We'll go into that in just a second, but XRP did get a nice retracement, and now it's starting to layer up, so we'll see. It looked like it was set up on a little bull flag this morning. MC Prosperity, welcome in. Good to see you in here, my friend. US 10-year, like we said, down 4 basis points or 0.87% to 4.11%. This looks like it's consolidating. It's Had a death cross, but let's face it, it's got on top of that death cross on the daily. So if we do show support here around that 4.08%, it's doing this in the standard operating procedure. So, I mean, I would anticipate this to keep going up just a little bit. If it does hold this area, it should come up to this, as we've talked about, 4.27% approximately. That's where I'm anticipating it. It looks like a flag has been formed here. In the 4 hourly, we've had a golden cross, so we're reversing that daily death cross. As we know, and we're on top of the 200 in the daily. So it seems to be reversing now. And I would anticipate this to come up to 4.27 as long as we don't lose like that 4.08%. That would be the important area to remember. U.S. crude oil WTI price in U.S. dollars is down 0.87% or 87 cents or 1.11% to $77.26. We've come up to the top resistance. I mean, we've anticipated this for a while. And now, if we do this standard, if this is the rejection point at $79 or 79.20 like it hit, then you got to come all the way back down to the uptrending support around 72.20. We'll find out a lot here. 4 hourly got into overbought, but now it's correcting. Daily still got a little bit of room, but it's going to have to correct a little bit. So if we're anticipating this to continue on, we're going to come down probably, I would say it's going to come down farther than that. Probably to the 200-day down. Now it's already come on pretty close. We'll see if we lose the 76.36. It's a pretty nice indication that we'd still have to come down to around the 2-hour time frame. But I don't know. If we clear down here to about 74.30, that would be nice. But it isn't kind of a rising channel here, so I would not be surprised if it comes back down to the uptrending support here again. So it's come up exactly like we anticipated for crude oil. I don't know what else to say. Came up to resistance. Now it's going to come back down to the bottom, it looks like. So those two targets that we just talked about, those two areas are very important. Gold is up $9 or to 2026.89 or up 0.44%. Gold's on, the only problem with gold that I have is it's on the bottom side right now, and it's hitting that as a resistance point. To me, this looks like it could be an artificial move up, and then it should complete the rest of the move down. I don't know. I think this is a liquidity scare right now to come up. And this obviously hit this resistance on the ascending side of town. And that's not a good sign. If it hits resistance here, this should come down. We should come down a little bit here. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to go all the way to 1930, but the fact we're hitting that as resistance, if this plays true, I know we've had a golden cross here. That's the only thing in the 45. So we can see if that continues to play out. But it's converged here. Hourly golden cross. 2 hourly, we're coming up on resistance on the two. We're below the 200-day and the 2 hourly, but we're holding support on the 20. So even if it comes up, you'd anticipate maybe a consolidation back down to 2,000 just to see if it can hold a nice reversal. But no, with manipulation in these markets, nobody can really tell. Right now, it's on the bottom side, and you'd anticipate another move down a little bit when the DXY, which looks like it's on a bull flag. It makes sense that this would come down a little bit as the DXY goes up. But we'll see if it plays true because there's no guarantee. PAXG is just still consolidating. We've talked about how it looked like it was on a bull flag last week. Now it's come up to that resistance. I don't know, though. I'd be very careful with all of this. With gold, the metals, I'd be very, very careful. Because the metals market looks like it's in need for more of a consolidation. I'm just calling it for what it looks like to me in the relative strength and the smaller time frames. 4 hourly starting to get up there if it does continue with PAXG. Daily time frame does have a lot of move to run. But as we always say, the lower time frames like to catch up for that explosive move. So we'll see. We'll see because it's all going to depend on gold and silver. Gold-silver ratio is down 0.94% or 88 cents, 87.626. As we just roll through this midday market report, I appreciate everybody who is tuning in. The gold-silver ratio came up to the rising channel resistance and the pivot level of 91.9 that we've talked about. That was our overextended run that we anticipated to come to, which it did, but now it's back in that rising channel. Now, if you continue moving down in the 4 hourly, we do have a reversal candle. So it's going to depend on this, but we have had a death cross in the 4 hourly. And if you continue moving down, you would have to lose this 87.50 approximately. And then we could see a potential reversal in the gold silver ratio. At some point, it's going to come down to 82.42. It has to. It's just in the 4 hourly, as it's cleared out, it's clearing out the relative strength of all of this as well. But that's what I'm looking at. Daily time frame can still come down quite a bit. And if it does come down, it'll come down to the 200-day right around 84.56. Silver's at 23.14, up 1.59% or 36 cents. We've got to come up to this resistance if we're going to be rejected. That's up a little bit farther at 23.57. We came right down to support. Did not come quite down to 21.52, but we came down to about 21.91. And now it looks like we're hunting resistance here. It's either going to be the 200-day and the daily at 23.25, but coming all the way up here, you'd anticipate it to come all the way to 23.62 to see how it's going to react. Pattern's already formed, so it's just a matter of, is this going to break down, or are we going to continue to consolidate and then push out? But silver is still a good deal at 87.62. It's just come down a little bit because it went up and peaked at 91.90. B2 gold at $2.76. This is another one that makes it very dicey. I would like to see it correct down to 240. I'll just be honest. It might not come all the way down there. Daily time frame looks like a small reversal candle. 3 hourly's up to resistance. 2 hourly got rejected at the 20-day so far. Looks like it's put in a reversal. And if it's based on, like, if we're looking at actual gold, silver, actually gold for this, even silver, because B2 Gold does have some silver that it's found in its new mines, I would still be more comfortable if you haven't bought into B2 Gold yet, if it come down around that $2.40. It looks a little dicey here. I could see it coming up, though, if it wants to be overzealous and retest some of these higher resistance. Like maybe to the 200-day at $2.90, but it's the problem is it's looking shaky here. Like it wants to come down a little bit farther. It keeps getting topped out in the shorter time frames, and it just looks like it wants to. Even if it doesn't come down to 240, I don't know why, but it gives me this feeling like it wants to come down and do something like this before it would have a wider turn. So we'll see, because it just seems like it's coming up in a rising channel kind of a way, and then that's kind of like a bear flag that would push it down. So I'm being very cautious with that right now. If it comes up to the levels we've talked about before, well, obviously we can make a more, obvious assertion. But right now it could come all the way up to 285, 314, but 314 seems unlikely. 285 seems like it could happen. Fortuna Silver Mines is up 2.28% or 7 cents to $3.14. It's had a huge drop. But again, just like B2 Gold, it's hitting resistance. So it might have come up a little bit, but right now it's coming to major resistance. So if you get rejected at 318, instead of bouncing up, now you're talking about a bounce down, maybe all the way down. This is a big bear flag. This could bring you down to 250, maybe even down to that 230 level. That's a big topping reversal here. So I'm being very cautious on metals right now. Not the physical ones I own, but as far as getting into like a swing position. Whoops, I went too far. And now with Bitcoin and XRP very quickly, I might touch H-bar too, but this is getting a little long. So if you would like to show support, you can always send a YouTube super chat or join Tom's Army for the work I put in. But most importantly, share this on social media and hit that like button while you watch. If you're looking to trade crypto, your XRP, whatever your favorite crypto, it's in the video description below. Other than that, Bitcoin came up. It's coming up. Basically hit that 43,500 resistance. It hit about 43,266. So I think we still got a little bit more room. Golden cross in the 2 hourly. Golden cross in the approaching in the 3 hourly. I don't know if it's hit it just yet. Nope, it's bouncing off of it right now. It looks like we're going to continue that push to 43,500. But even more so, if this continues up, your next major resistance over that pivot point, if you just look at this old bull flag that we broke down out of, is 44,190. Assuming that we can hold 42,500, which it looks like we've all but done. And then if you look at the broadening wedge perspective here, that's how you get that 43,500 mid pivot point. It's been a pivot point, and that's what we're coming up to right now. And then if you break that and 44,400, the broadening wedge resistance is all the way up to near 50,000. So I don't know if Bitcoin's got the strength to do that because of the relative strength being so high already. But I wouldn't surprise me with manipulation. I can see us coming up to 44,100 if it continues. But the caveat is we got to get above 43,500. And then XRP's at 5302. Big pivot level at 534. Can't do anything until you get past the 534. Plenty of room to run here. What looks like it's starting to disguise a bull flag here with the W reversal. And that looks like an inverted head and shoulders, as if you watch this morning's update, not a lot did. But it'll be watched as the day goes on. It's just, when the market is the way it is, a lot of people stop losing that commitment. So it's when people get hurt in the markets. Right now is the obvious time to pay attention. inverted head and shoulders here. Should bring us probably back up to that 56.60 unless 534 holds, and then you can get smacked back down to this 495. If 495 gets lost, then you go down to that 44-cent rising channel support from June of 2022. Hey, thank you so much, Joshua, for the $1.99 donation. I greatly appreciate that, as always. So that's XRP, and then very last but least, H-bar. Up 1.25%. It's sitting at the 740 level. H-bar right now, just like XRP, we talked about this at the end of the week that it could form this W reversal, and now it looks like that's exactly what's happening. It's even had this consolidatory arm here. So as long as H-bar doesn't lose 70, I'd say, let's be conservative, 703. If it holds that 703, more than likely you're going to get this round back out. I would not be surprised if crypto has a big run up here. And I'm not talking like 30, 40%. I'm talking like with H-bar, a lot of them are showing this run up. Like H-bar showing a run up of like 15% if it can return rally. It looks like crypto could be forming a sneaker reversal. Like Casper's up 4.7% today, but that's not even telling the story. Casper came all the way down to like 3.3. And now it looks like I would be paying attention. It's in this falling channel. Even if it's getting rejected, you would expect with that level of consolidation. Look at the 4 hourly. We're just breaking back into a more neutral or bullish push. I would anticipate this to come up to like 3.8. 3.8. We had such a wide dump off yesterday that I would not be surprised if it does finish this move up. I know the shorter time frames are building up again, but it really looks like this is building out to something a little bit bigger than it's already built to. So just pay attention to Casper, especially if you're interested in it. It's had a huge consolidation, so I would not be surprised if this puts in a reversal. And could it come up to 4.3? I don't know, but 3.8 I think is on the table. Have a blessed afternoon, everybody. I'm glad that you tuned in to the Midday Market Report. Until later on, have a good one, and don't let your emotions control things. Stay positive in the markets. Even though they look bearish, they look like they're moving up a level here, so don't be surprised.